Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be discussing my terrible, awful airport experience. And I figured we'd do this extreme Fall Guys mode today. The context of this is, over the summer, a couple years ago, I went and stayed with family in Alaska, where they live. And I had a job there and everything. I stayed for about a month, a little over that. And it was really fun. There was a lot, to do up there. We went camping at one point. The salmon were running, and I actually caught one with my hands in the water, which was pretty cool. It's very pretty up there. The mountains are, right on the ocean, and it's just really, really cool. We went out on a boat, and they were, catching fish and shrimp and stuff. It was just amazing. And then after that, after I was done, after I had to come home, unfortunately, I was flying alone for the first time because the rest of my family had not stayed as long. I had just stayed longer because I was working there. What could possibly go wrong, we all thought. A lot went wrong, actually. We boarded our flight. I took the red eye to Juneau, which is where I guess that's the capital of Alaska, and that's where the airport out of Alaska was. And so we go to Juneau, or just me. I go to Juneau, and the airport, oh, that's unfortunate for me. So I go to Juneau. I fly, everything is fine, dandy, nothing goes wrong. And then I have to go through customs again in Seattle, which is the next step in our long flight trip. My long flight trip. I always say our, it's just my, streamer, YouTuber thing. I just say our to everything, but this is my trip. And so we get to Seattle, and I am, I'm making good time. I'm going to be at my gate on time. So I make it to my gate, 40 minutes to spare. And then after that 40 minutes comes, there's okay, we're having a 30-minute delay. And so I'm this is really uncomfortable. The seating is just not comfortable. I don't want to have to wait here for this long. And so after the 30-minute delay, they're okay, we have an hour delay. And so I'm why do I have to still sit here? So eventually they board us on the plane after the hour is done, and we're all sitting on the plane, and the plane doesn't take off for another half hour. And this was meant to be an overnight flight, so it's 11:30 at this point, and I'm 15. And the captain comes into the plane, and he's sorry guys, but we're gonna have to ask you all to get off of the plane because this plane can't fly. And so he's I'm going to be honest with you guys and tell you why. The co-pilot didn't show up. He's not answering his phone, and we cannot get a hold of him. So we can't fly the plane. And so they just boot us all off the plane, and we have to all make our way to the same help desk. The entire flight worth of people. And it's a big flight. And we're all standing in line at this help desk. And the help desk is there's 3 people there, so they're doing 3 people at a time, but it takes a long time. And so by the time, I'm at the back of the line because I don't really, push myself ahead in lines and stuff. I just don't care that much. And by the time I get up there, it's, already past midnight. And so I'm standing there as a 15-year-old who was flying alone, wondering what I'm supposed to be doing, and the lady's you're 15, you aren't even supposed to be in this line, you should have just come right up here. I didn't know that, nobody told me. And apparently, since my mom filled on the paper that I didn't need, assistance from a person, then I was, not really in their care, so they didn't care that I was 15 and alone in the airport. And so they were okay, well, there's nothing we can do for you because you signed that, so just, go sit in the airport. And I got my mom on the phone, and she ended up getting me on a flight at, 10 or 11 the next day. And so I have to sit in this airport overnight. And they're just not being very helpful. And my mom's eventually like, look, he's like a minor. You have to get... Oh, that's so upsetting for that person. You have to give him some kind of help. They didn't have any more of the like hotel rooms, and I'm not allowed to leave the airport because I'm a minor. And so what ended up happening was they gave me 2 Starbucks gift cards and said, well, good luck, and just sent me out into the greater airport. And so I spent the night in the dining room, like, with my head down on a table, and I had my Nintendo Switch in my, like, hand, because it was in my carry-on, and I didn't want to fall asleep, because I was afraid somebody would, like, take that. And so I was just awake the entire night. It was the first all-nighter I actually ever successfully pulled. And it was so uncomfortable in, like, the plastic dining room chair. I eventually, like, went and laid down on a bench, but then some people came and sat, like, right next to me, and I got uncomfortable and left. But yeah, it was a pretty bad experience. I did get these, like, cake things from Starbucks, and they were really good, let me tell you. I never had them after it, but they were really good. And so eventually the time comes for my flight, and I board and everything, and I fly to meet with my family. And my mom gets pissed at me for being tired, because we were spending a week with her family after that. It was my dad's family in Alaska. My mom was a little bit pissed that I was tired. I was like, I just spent the entire night worried in... After that, my grandma and my mom both separately called and, like, complained to them about their treatment of me, a 15-year-old child. And so I got two free flights to Alaska, which is pretty cool. Actually, they can be used anywhere, but yeah. So now I just have those, like, sitting around, waiting to be used. So overall, it ended up being a positive experience, but I mean, it was really, really, really annoying to be there and be that tired for, like, the rest of the week. I did not enjoy it. And since I'm not done with this game of Fall Guys, I have another story. It's a shorter story. So my girlfriend lives about, like, 15 to 20 minutes away from my house, and her friends all live around her, and one of my friends is dating her friends. So I drive my friend up there whenever we're all hanging out as a group. And so on our way back, I have to go past my house and then go to his house and then come back to my house. It's not very far, but I just go past. And my neighbors next door have always been a little bit crazy. We don't mess with them. And they're just mean and, like, very much criminals. So one time I am driving my friend home, and he ends up, or I go past my house, and there's a car sitting in their driveway with its headlights on, and it's not moving. And so I'm like, what's the deal with that? That's a little weird. But I ignore it because obviously I don't mess with them. That's too much of a can of worms. I don't really want to get into all that. And so then I go and talk to them. Or I don't go and talk to them. No, that would be bad. So I ignore this. And while I am driving back home, I pull into my driveway, and I see the headlights of their car are still on in their driveway. So my driveway's a little bit longer. I pull in, and I see them go out of my neighbor's driveway, and then they pull into my driveway. And they're, like, behind me, so I can't get out of my driveway. And I'm sitting there in my car thinking, what am I going to do? And I decide that I'm going to try to get into my house. I have to unlock my door. My family's not awake. It's like 11 o'clock p.m. And so I get out of my car, and I forgot to turn my car off. And so I'm sitting there trying to grab it out of the car. And then they, like, get out of their car. I hear the door shut. They're farther, like, up the driveway. And they call to me, like... And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm not making it to this door. I'm not getting into my house. What am I going to do? I can run into the backyard over the fence. But they're like... The lady comes out and yells to me, "Have you seen our cat? We got in an argument with your neighbors and we lost our cat. It ran out of our window. Its name is Squirrel." And I'm like, no, I have not seen your cat. Thanks for following me into my driveway at 11 p.m. And she's like, "Here's my phone number if you find our cat." And I was like, okay. And so I went inside and, like, called my friends, and I don't think they really believed me, but I was, like, freaking out. And eventually when my mom and dad got up in the morning, I told them about it, and I was like, "Keep an eye out for Squirrel." And they're like, "Okay." But it was really a freaky moment to be followed into your driveway. Oh wow, I didn't know that was so strong. I didn't know about the fan. But anyway, yeah. Those are my stories for the day. I hope you guys enjoyed. Adios.